You are losing years of your life right this very moment. As you read these words, there are men investing everything in relationships that were doomed from the start. And they don't know it, but you will know. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the complete map of the 7 behavioral patterns that reveal a toxic woman before you really screw yourself over, before she gains access to your time, your money, and your peace of mind. And I'm going to show you why you've ignored the signs that were always there, right in front of you screaming. Listen closely. Most men believe that women with destructive patterns only reveal who they truly are after months or years of living together, after commitment, after you're already trapped. A lie. That's the lie that costs you dearly. The truth no one told you is this. All the warning signs appear in the first few weeks, often on the first few dates. The problem isn't the absence of evidence. The problem is that you don't know what to look for. You haven't been trained to be a pattern detective. You've been conditioned to ignore your intuition, to rationalize strange behaviors, and to confuse emotional intensity with genuine connection. Here's the raw, unvarnished truth. Women with toxic behavioral patterns reveal consistent signs early in a relationship, and learning to decipher them is crucial to avoiding significant emotional and material damage. The man who masters this ability protects his future. Now you're going to learn the 7 patterns that separate the aware man from the captive man. Pay attention. Each of these patterns has a name, because to name it is to master it. When you can name what's happening, the spell breaks. You move out of confusion and into clarity. Let's get to the patterns. Pattern number 1, the boundary test. She tests your boundaries and your ability to say no in a subtle, almost imperceptible way. How? She asks for a big favor early on, something that requires disproportionate effort for the level of intimacy you share. Or she cancels plans last minute, repeatedly, to gauge your reaction. She wants to know if you'll swallow it, if you'll complain, or if you'll simply accept it. This is the entry test. If you pass by allowing it, you've just signaled that your boundaries are negotiable, and everything that's negotiable will be negotiated until it disappears. Pattern number 2, chronic victimization. She positions herself as a constant victim of circumstances or other people. All her ex-friends are fake. All her ex-bosses are exploiters. There's always an external drama, an injustice, someone who betrayed or disappointed her. At first, you feel compassion. You want to be the hero who finally treats her well. But do you notice the pattern? If everyone around her is the problem, who's the common denominator? She is. And soon, you'll be another one on her list of villains. Pattern number 3, inverted projection. She accuses you of having the exact flaws she herself possesses. She arrives late and accuses you of being impatient. She shows unhealthy jealousy and calls you controlling. She lies and accuses you of being dishonest. This is pure projection. It's a psychological defense mechanism where a person externalizes what they can't accept in themselves. When you start hearing accusations that make no sense with who you are, stop. Turn the mirror. What she's saying about you is, in fact, a confession about herself. Pattern number 4, intermittent reinforcement. This is the most dangerous of all because it creates chemical dependency in your brain. She alternates affection and disdain to create an emotional roller coaster. One day, she's the sweetest woman in the world, showering you with attention, making you feel special. The next day, or even hours later, she ignores you, treats you coldly, with no explanation, no apparent reason. Your brain releases dopamine during the good times and goes into withdrawal during the bad. You start chasing the good moments, like an addict chases the next fix. This cycle isn't love, it's addiction. It's the same neuroscience that keeps a gambler in front of a slot machine. Pattern number 5, subtle devaluation. She diminishes your achievements or feelings in a veiled, almost polite way. You tell her something that made you happy, an accomplishment at work, a project that went well, and she responds with, "Oh, that's no big deal," or "anyone could do that." She never attacks you directly, but her words are like poison in homeopathic doses. Over time, you start to doubt your own worth. You stop celebrating your victories. You internalize her voice and start diminishing yourself. Pattern number 6, blame reversal. She manages to make you feel guilty for problems that are entirely hers. She's stressed about work and blames you for not understanding her enough. She overspent and blames you for not earning more. She fought with her mother, and somehow it's your fault for not giving the right advice. This is operational gaslighting. She rewrites reality in a way that you are always responsible for her discomfort. And you, wanting to be a good partner, accept this narrative. You carry the weight of problems that were never yours. Pattern number 7, the scarcity frame. She tries to make you feel like she's your only option, that you won't find anyone better. She says things like, "No one else will put up with you like I do," or "You don't know how lucky you are to be with me." She plants the seed of scarcity in your mind. And if you believe it, you become a captive. You tolerate the intolerable because you believe there's no way out, no alternative. But there is. There always is. Scarcity is a mental prison, not an objective reality. Now I'm going to show you 3 real men who ignored these signs. Their names have been changed, but the stories are true. First case, the confident engineer, 32 years old. He met a charming woman at work. She was intelligent, articulate, attractive. In the first few weeks, she began subtly devaluing his ideas in social gatherings, making little jokes about his profession, repeatedly arriving late. He ignored it because the physical attraction was strong. He thought, "She's just kidding. She didn't mean it." Decision, he moved forward with the relationship. Cost. After a year, he felt constantly diminished, unmotivated at work, with his self-esteem shattered. He had stopped proposing ideas in meetings. Her critical voice had become his own voice. Second case, the recently divorced professor, 40 years old. He came out of a painful marriage and met a woman who seemed very understanding, almost therapeutic. But quickly, she began to victimize herself about all her ex-relationships, isolating him from his friends, saying they didn't understand their love. He, starved for affection, rationalized, "She just needs me. She's been hurt before. I can help her." Decision. He ignored his friends' warnings. Cost. Within 6 months, he had lost contact with his entire support network. He was alone in a cycle of constant drama, exhausted, without energy, with no visible way out. The relationship that was supposed to heal had become another wound. Third case, the young entrepreneur, 28 years old. He met a woman who alternated moments of intense passion with periods of inexplicable coldness. One day, she'd send loving messages all day. The next, she'd disappear for days. He interpreted the coldness as, "She's busy," and the passion as, "She truly loves me." Decision. He entered a vicious cycle of seeking validation. Cost. His productivity at work plummeted. He was constantly anxious, checking his phone, planning the next date, trying to guess her mood. He spent a fortune trying to please her, buying gifts, planning surprises, all to keep the good moments coming. In the end, he wasn't building a business. He was building an emotional prison. Do you see the pattern? 3 men, 3 ages, 3 contexts. Same result, gradual destruction. And it all started with ignored signs in the first few weeks. Now, I'm going to show you the 5 mistakes you're probably making right now that guarantee you'll fall into the same trap. Mistake number 1. Ignoring the initial signs. You see something strange, but you think, "It was just once, it's no big deal." Consequence. You allow the behavior to become a pattern. What was an exception becomes the rule. What should be unacceptable becomes normal. Mistake number 2. Rationalizing bad behavior. You make excuses for her. She's stressed about work. She had a difficult childhood. She didn't mean that. Consequence. You construct a false narrative that justifies the toxicity. You become the lawyer for your own prison. Mistake number 3. Believing you can save or change her. You think, "If I'm patient enough, if I give enough love, she'll get better." Consequence. You invest years in a project of change that isn't yours to accomplish. You become an unpaid therapist for someone who hasn't asked for help. Mistake number 4. Avoiding confrontation to maintain peace. You swallow it. You let it slide. You choose superficial harmony instead of uncomfortable truth. Consequence. You signal that your boundaries don't exist. She loses respect for you because you lost respect for yourself. Mistake number 5. Seeking constant validation from her. You need her approval to feel good about yourself. Your mood depends on her mood. Consequence: you become dependent on the source of your own pain. You hand over control of your emotional life to another person. Now, for the part you've been waiting for. The protocol. The 5 steps that get you out of the minefield and into safe territory. Step 1. Observe patterns, not isolated incidents. 1 delay might be traffic. 3 consecutive delays is disrespect. 1 accusation might be a misunderstanding. Constant accusations are projection. Look for repetition. The pattern is the truth. The isolated incident is noise. Step 2. Establish clear and early boundaries. Define what is acceptable and what is not. Communicate this clearly, without aggression, but with firmness. I don't accept delays without prior notice. I don't tolerate public disrespect. I don't continue conversations when there's shouting. Your boundaries are the architecture of the relationship. Without boundaries, there's no structure. Without structure, there's chaos. Step 3. Validate your intuition and discomfort. If something feels wrong, it probably is wrong. Your body knows before your mind. You feel a knot in your stomach, a tension in your chest, a desire to flee. Don't ignore these signs. They are your psyche's alarm system. Trust them. Step 4. Maintain emotional and logistical distance. Don't get deeply involved. Don't become dependent. Don't mix finances. Don't move cities until you have absolute clarity about her pattern. Maintain your autonomy. Keep your options open. Keep your life functioning independently of her. Step 5. Seek feedback from neutral third parties. Share your observations with trusted friends who know you well. Ask for their opinion. Often, outsiders see what insiders cannot. The external perspective is an antidote to internal illusion. Now comes the hard part, the truth that hurts but liberates. If you ignore what you've learned here, if you go back to that relationship where you recognized 3, 4, 5 of these patterns and decide to stay, because you think this time it will be different, you've made your choice. You are no longer a victim, you are an accomplice, and the cost will increase. The time you lose today is time you'll never get back. The years you invest in a toxic relationship are years you steal from a healthy relationship in the future. Every day that passes, leaving becomes more expensive. You become financially entangled. You become emotionally entangled. You become socially entangled. And when you finally wake up, when you finally see the trap, you're so deep that getting out seems impossible. But it's not. It's never too late to choose yourself. It's never too late to set standards. It's never too late to leave. The only thing holding you back is the narrative you tell yourself. The narrative that you've invested too much to quit. The narrative that she will change. The narrative that you won't find anyone better. All these narratives are prisons. And you hold the key. So here's your binary choice. You can close this video, forget what you heard, and go back to the old pattern. Or you can implement the protocol starting now. You can start observing. You can start naming. You can start acting. The difference between these 2 paths is the difference between years of suffering and a life of clarity, between being a captive and being free, between repeating mistakes or learning from them. And here's what I want you to do now. Go to the comments and share an experience. Tell us about a red flag you ignored and the cost you paid. Or tell us about a red flag you identified in time and the problems you avoided. Do this for 2 reasons. First, for you to process the experience and extract the lesson. Second, to help another man who is going through the same situation now and still doesn't know how to name what's happening. Your story could be the key that unlocks someone else's prison. It could be the validation someone needs to trust their own intuition. It could be the difference between a man who screws himself over and a man who saves himself. Time is passing. The decision is yours. But remember, tomorrow repeats today unless you change something today. Choose wisely, choose consciously, choose yourself.